first just say it's a terrible idea to make us give these speeches after the slideshows. That kind of emotional trauma is not beneficial to our capacity for eloquence. But anyways, all right, let's see if I can do this. So, my favorite philosopher is, of course, Socrates, basically the single-handed inventor of Western civilization. And there's an old story told about Socrates. One day he went to the oracle at Delphi, and he asked, "Oh, oracle, who is the wisest man in all of Athens?" And the oracle said, "You, O Socrates, are most assuredly the wisest." But Socrates is very confused. He's all like, no, the only thing I know is that I know nothing." To which the oracle responds, "Well, that is one more thing than everyone else in Athens knows." Now, I think that classical conversations and my experience in high school with CC and with speech and debate has taught me this principle more than anything. A willingness to learn, discuss, and debate without necessarily assuming that oneself is right has been the greatest progenitor of learning and friendship in my life. So first and foremost, with regards to learning, the CC experience has been absolutely amazing. After all, the CC education is based on discussion, so all through this year we've had amazing conversations about whether or not Hector should have returned to the wall to fight or gone out onto the battlefield in the Iliad, or whether or not our actions are divinely determined. Master Butler and Master Van Sweden. And in previous years we've had conversations about questions like what is virtue and can it be taught? And we always end up going with our gut at the beginning of these conversations, but we come into it willing to change our minds and pursue truth. And debate, my career in there, has required that same sort of skill competitively, because you have to debate both sides of the same issue. So all of this has brought about, I think in me, a very analytical mind, for which I am extraordinarily thankful for all of my classmates sharpening me, the people I've debated with sharpening me, my parents for seeing the value of CC, and my tutors for helping me be encouraged in this process. So ultimately, I have everyone to thank for whatever sort of educational benefits I have acquired in my high school career. And secondly, and much more importantly, are all the friendships that I made. Friendships are often founded on mutual interests, but one thing that I found is more conducive to a strong, tight bond than any other type of interest is a mutual love of truth. And it's impossible to have that if we come into a setting where we have our minds made up and we're not necessarily willing to consider another position. But in classical conversations and in the discussions we've had there, we've all revised our opinions multiple times, all of my classmates throughout the year. I have waffled positions, my friends have waffled their positions, but we've always ended up coming to conclusions that might be different than what we originally started out with. And this has created a bonds of friendship between me and a great many other people here and not here that are ultimately so deep and deeper than what I have with a lot of other people, because we have a mutual love of truth, and our friendship is not built on whether or not we agree or disagree, but whether or not we're willing to talk and discuss. So ultimately, I think this has had a profound impact on my future. I can think analytically thanks to all of my friends and my parents and my tutors. My friendships that I have in the future will not be made on mutual beliefs, but on mutual love of truth, which will, I think, open the door to a great many more friendships than otherwise, because I can be friends with those with whom I disagree. And I think that in the future I will always seek to become wiser and more knowledgeable, as long as I always retain this worldview that has been cultivated in me, this desire to pursue truth above everything else that has been engendered in me by my friends and family here. So, thank you to everyone. My favorite economist is a man named Friedrich Hayek, and he once gave a lecture, after which he took some questions, and there's a story told by one of the people who was there at the lecture in Brazil. He stood up and asked a question. He says, "Your mentor, Ludwig von Mises, would disagree with you." And he goes on to explain exactly why Mises would disagree with Hayek. Hayek sits there silently for a very long time, and then says, "As usual, my mentor was right." Now, Hayek lost a little face there, but everyone became enriched. And I think that ultimately demonstrates why Socrates' thesis is true. Wisest is he who knows that he does not know. And I have been convicted of this throughout my high school experience by all of my friends and family. So thank you.